Chapter 5. Taking advantage of dribble penetration.
A good perimeter player does not wait on the ball to accidentally find him. Dribble penetration by your teammate demands that you read and react with a move to put yourself in the best possible position to receive a pass. And that's the goal of this chapter, to increase your chances of being on the receiving end of the penetrator's pass. Regardless of which level you're playing at, the type of players, their age, sex, or style of play, dribble penetration occurs more often than any other action in the game. This means that there are lots of opportunities to score for those without the ball if they know where to move when a drive occurs. On the other hand, moving the wrong way becomes not just a missed opportunity for you to score, but often a turnover as well. Don't stand and watch. That's what spectators do, not players. If you're going to stand and watch, then move up into the stands with the fans. Enjoy some popcorn and a hot dog and let somebody else become a player. When your defender helps, slide into an area where the ball handler can see you. That's the overriding principle of this chapter. And if that's all you take with you from this chapter, then it'll be well worth it. If your defender turns his attention to the ball, then lose him. Your defender might step toward the ball or simply turn his head. The head turn is the signal. Move. Move when he's not paying attention to you and move out of his line of sight. The last principle to look for throughout this chapter is a circle movement by the offensive players who don't have the ball. It's a broad principle for which there are a few exceptions, but look for it to occur in most cases. It looks like this. If the ball is driven to the right of the defensive player, then the offensive players circle to the right. If the ball is driven left, then they circle left. The reason that the circle movement is successful is that the movement of the offensive players will usually be in the opposite direction that the defense helps and rotates. If you're moving in the opposite direction that the defense has been trained to move, you have a much better chance of being open.
Chapter 5 Contents. Drives to recognize. Read the drive and react. On the wing. In the corner. In the post. Up top. The big picture. Exceptions to examine. Reading the type of drive.
Penetrate, draw the defense, and pitch to the open player. That's simple enough, but which defender is drawn to help depends on the type of drive and the type of defense that's being played. So first, let's categorize the types of drives that you must be able to recognize. Later, you'll learn how to react to each one.
Drive on your side.
You are one pass away anywhere on the perimeter. A drive on your side means the penetrator is driving the ball on your side of his or her defender.
Drive away from you.
Same situation, one pass away on the perimeter. A drive away from you means the penetrator drives on the other side of his or her defender.
Down the gut.
Down the gut means a drive from up top, crossing the free throw line inside the lane.
Wing to the middle.
Wing to the middle is a drive that begins on the wing and enters the lane in the upper half.
Baseline drive.
Baseline drive is a drive that enters the lane in the lower half. The drive could originate from the corner, but it might start from the wing as well.
Read the drive and react.
Now, what follows is not an exhaustive list. There are always exceptions to the rule, but these are the situations that you'll see most of the time. Let's start with the reads and reactions when you're on the wing, and we'll cover where you should move no matter from where the ball is driven.
Location. You are on the wing.
The ball is driven from up top, down the gut on your side, and your defender helps straight across. Your slide is toward the corner. The key is to always remain in the ball handler's 45-degree peripheral vision. This makes it a natural pitch for the ball handler. An easy push pass off the dribble. Your slide not only keeps you in the passer's vision, but now your defender must change direction and cover more ground to recover to you, and this affords you more time to get off your shot. Your shot preparation is the same as waiting on the weak side in Chapter 2. Have target hands in your shot pocket and do whatever it takes to catch the ball in your triple attack position.
Game examples.
Пошла последняя минута четверти, 5 секунд на атаку. Холден. Да.
Prendere dagli arbitri. Durstein dall'altra parte, fuori per Celeste, che ha spazio per la...
The ball is up top, but the penetration is away from you. To remain where you are will leave you in a dead zone. It's called that because for most ball handlers, it's difficult to pass over the opposite shoulder, and it's almost impossible to see you since the defender that she's in the process of beating is blocking the line of sight to your area. Many teams know that and choose to leave you open when they help and rotate. So where should you go? Well, whether it's a very good defensive team with perfect rotation or a simple case of dribble penetration drawing all defenders toward the ball, most of the time a hole is left on the perimeter from where the penetration began. Take advantage of this and move out of the dead zone to fill the spot directly behind the penetrator. Picture it this way. You and the penetrator are connected. The drive away from you pulls you into the teammate's former spot. Notice the circle movement. Now, if the ball is completely stopped and all the penetrator's normal passes to your other three teammates have been shut down, the penetrator can reverse pivot and throw back to you as a safety valve. This becomes a great catch and shoot or catch and attack situation for you. If the ball is in the same side corner, that is, one pass away from you, then the circle principle applies. In other words, if the ball drives baseline away from you, then fill the corner behind it. If the ball is driven on your side, that is, toward the middle, then let the circle movement push you away toward the top so that you remain in the penetrator's 45-degree vision.
Location. You are on the wing, but you have teammates in the post area.
If the ball is opposite you on the other wing, then your movement is simple. Stay on a line parallel to the ball. Mirror the movement of the other wing player. If he penetrates and your defender helps, then you'll be in the position of the natural pitch. Let's look at two examples. If he drives to the middle and your defender helps, then you are his easiest option, a pass straight ahead off the dribble.
Game examples.
חבר'ה עדיין מחזיקים בכדור, ועכשיו יבוא סטפנו ויעשה את השלושה.
When he drives baseline, many defenders stop his drive to the basket, but not the pass behind the basket to the opposite corner. So if no one is in the corner below you, the principle of being on a parallel line will carry your slide into the corner, where you are once again on the receiving end of a straightaway pass.
Game examples.
Değerli izleyiciler, tekrar birlikteyiz. Atina'da OAK Olimpik Spor Salonu'nda mola süresi.
Location. You are in the corner.
If we apply the circle movement to penetration from up top, you'll notice that a drive right slides the right wing to the corner, and the right corner makes a basket cut on his way to fill the next spot in the opposite corner. The circle movement, in its purest form, would tell the left corner to rotate up to the left wing. But this is the dead zone, as you saw earlier. And that's why I call the circle movement a principle instead of a rule. Don't move into the dead zone. You have as much of a chance at rear cutting your defender as the other corner does. So, if you're in either corner, and penetration comes from up top, make a basket cut. Any movement by your defender is your signal to rear cut. Even a turn of the defender's head becomes a read to go back door. Many times this works simply because the defense is focused on the penetration in front of them and forgets about you cutting behind them. The principle works in transition as well. Read the defender and rear cut.
Game examples.
The ball is one pass away on the same side wing. If the ball is on the high wing, say above the free throw line extended, then the circle principle will send you back door looking for a layup. When the ball is driven from the high wing, there will be plenty of time to make your rear cut and clear the lane in case your teammate doesn't pass to you and decides to finish his drive to the goal. If the ball is on the low wing, where it takes your teammate only one dribble to get to the goal, rotating to the next spot, the opposite corner, will put yourself and your defender in the path of your penetrating teammate. So stay put, but don't relax. If your defender gives quick help, you could be receiving a quick pitch after one dribble. If the ball is on the same side wing, but is driven away from you, then just like before, avoid the dead zone and fill the spot behind the penetrator. You become a safety valve that prevents turnovers and bad shots. If the ball is on the opposite wing, then you must read whether the drive is to the middle or to the baseline. If it's to the middle, then just like penetration down the gut, look to rear cut your defender for a backdoor layup. However, if the wing makes the drive along the baseline, or if the drive comes from the opposite corner, then the read is the same. It's a baseline drive, don't slide anywhere, stay in the corner. You might start to circle up to the wing, but immediately step back into the corner. Because for baseline penetration, the natural pitch to the opposite corner is open more often than any other window.
Location. You are in the post.
Picture this. You're inside posting up, or you're making a basket cut, or you're setting a screen. Regardless of the reason, you're in the post area when, boom, dribble penetration occurs. Your first priority is to get out of the way and give your teammate space to get to the goal. Now, that might sound overly simple, but I was recently watching a pro game, considered the highest level of basketball, and there's a penetrator making his moves from beyond the half line, working the middle 1/3 of the floor. Everybody in the house knows he's headed to the goal, except I guess for his teammate in the low post, because this low post player stays right where he's at while his teammate takes it to the rack less than 6 inches away from him. The post player flinches to keep from being hit in the face while his teammate goes by. I'm yelling at the TV, get out of his way. You're forcing your teammate to not only beat 2 or 3 defenders, but to beat you as well. I mean, I don't have any drills for beating your own teammates. So if you don't know what penetrating pitch means, at least get out of your teammate's way and give him room to get to the rack. Anyway, if you're in the post and there's dribble penetration, then your slide must not only be out of the way, but you should move into a position to receive a pass. Now, these slides must also be in conjunction with the rest of your teammates. You don't want 2 players occupying the same space. So, with that in mind, here are the reactions to dribble penetration when you're in the post. If the ball is driven down the gut, the middle of the lane, and your defender helps, then step out and create space for the pass. But if help defense comes from somewhere else and your defender follows you out of the lane, then look to rear cut him for a layup.
Game examples.
Cuando ahí recibe el balón y se eleva. palleggio, Verbitz a Stefano, ancora pick and roll, questa volta con Kakiusis, non sfruttato da Stefano, liberato però chiaro alla perfezione, Parker per Jasikevicius, in emergenza Mörtola contro di lui.
If the ball is driven from the wing into the middle above your position in the post, then just like the drive down the gut, step out of the way and give your teammate room to finish. When you're opposite the ball, your step out could turn into a jumper if your defender stays to help. But if your defender goes with you, then look for a rear cut. On the ball side, if the wing beats his man clean, then you might get a bounce pass for a layup. But if the wing does not beat his man clean, then you could find yourself in the dead zone. So, to cover all the bases, let your step out continue into a complete loop out of the dead zone and into the safety valve position behind the wing. Again, you can see the circle principle coming into play. If the ball is driven below your position in the post, from either side of the floor, then it becomes a baseline drive, regardless of whether it began on the wing or in the corner. Slide up the lane to the free throw line elbow or to the arc, depending on your shooting range. If you were posting on the ball side, you'll find yourself in the 90-degree window of the passer. If you were in the post on the weak side, you'll find yourself sliding for the 45-degree pass.
Location. You are up top.
The ball is on the wing and one pass away from you. If the drive is to the baseline, then it's away from you, and just as you've already seen from the other positions, you should get out of the dead zone and fill behind the penetrator to become the safety valve. If the ball is on the wing and the drive is to the middle, the circle principle will push your slide along the arc. Look for the 45 to 90-degree angle pitch.
Game examples.
The ball is in the corner and you're up top, which means you are 2 or more passes away. When the corner drives, you'll be able to slide into the 90 or 45-degree windows, depending on which of the two spots are filled by your teammates.
Game examples. The big picture.
What happens when all 5 players are using these principles at the same time? Will there be a conflict? Will you be running into your own teammate? Or will you still have good spacing, good balance, and every window of the penetrator filled with a potential target? Let's answer that question by applying these principles to all 5 players in the 3 most likely offensive sets that your team will use. 5 out, 4 out and 1 in, and 3 out and 2 in.
5 out. Gut drive. Natural pitch. Bounce pass layup. Bounce pass layup. Safety valve. Wing drive middle. Natural pitch. Bounce pass layup. 45-degree pitch. Safety valve. Wing drive baseline. Quick pitch. Natural pitch. 45-degree pitch. Safety valve. Corner baseline drive. Natural pitch. 45-degree pitch. 90-degree up the line. Safety valve. 4 out, 1 in. Gut drive. Natural pitch, bounce pass layup, step out or layup, safety valve. Another gut drive. Natural pitch, Step out or lay up. Bounce pass layup. Safety valve. Wing drive middle. Bounce pass layup. Bounce pass layup. Natural pitch. 45-degree pitch. Safety valve. Baseline drive. Natural pitch. 45-degree pitch. 90-degree up the line. Safety valve. 3 out, 2 in. Gut drive. Natural pitch. Shot or rear cut. Shot or rear cut. Safety valve. Wing drive middle. Shot or rear cut. Natural pitch. Shot or rear cut. 45-degree pitch. Safety valve. Wing drive baseline. Natural pitch. 45-degree pitch. 90-degree up the line. Safety valve. Exceptions to examine.
There's no way to log every exception, and that's why this chapter is built on principles and not hard, fast rules. These exceptions occur because the defense or your penetrating teammate has done something out of the ordinary. I'm going to show you the 2 most common cases so that you're not taken by surprise when you see them. The first common exception occurs when you are 1 pass away and the ball is driven on your side. This time, the penetration on your side is arced. In other words, his drive is not a V directly to the goal, but instead his defender makes him drive in a U. A slide away doesn't help because your defender can give the little bit of help that's needed and cut off the line of the pass to you at the same time. Instead, V-step and move behind the ball. Without intentionally doing it, the ball handler has provided you with a brush screen. Now your defender must fight around the penetrator in order to recover. This read is a little more advanced than the others because you must be able to discern whether the drive is a good north-south penetration or whether it's being arced in an east-west direction. Another exception is the corner basket cut. If you remember, the principle is to basket cut behind your defender if dribble penetration comes from up top, down the middle. But here's the exception. If your defender is already in the lane, prepared to help, then a basket cut would allow your defender to stop the ball and guard you at the same time. Instead, stay in the corner for the pitch.
Conclusion.
A good perimeter player always looks for ways to be available to the ball at all times. It's a mentality, an attitude, and it demands that you study every aspect of the game. And while we're talking about attitude, take every chance that you get to sing the praises of the penetrator who delivered you the ball. Even during the game, point him or her out immediately after you score. Be sure to mention them in the team meeting or the TV interview. In the next game, if that player has to decide which side of the floor to penetrate, whose side do you think he'll come to? Yours, of course. Have this attitude. If they shared the ball, then you share the glory. If they passed you the ball, then pass back the credit. I promise you that you'll see even more passes and more scoring opportunities being passed your way.